Hello gamers and welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Vertical Bullet, your best source of shooter video games. Our today's topic is about the 144Hz monitor and how it improves your aim. So before we begin, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. So the benefits of the 144Hz monitor are often a long debate. Of course, the best way to see the advantage of the 144Hz is to try it in your video games. A high refresh rate improves visual comfort and smoothness, but the question remains whether you will have a real advantage in terms of aiming in your favorite FPS games. If you're just wondering if the 144Hz monitor improves your aim, then we have the optimal answer for you. Let's start with the advantages of the 144Hz monitors. The 144Hz monitor offers a high refresh rate, which is very practical when it comes to fast-paced and competitive games, particularly the FPS type. It provides you with multiple advantages that contribute to the improvement of your aim in multiplayer shooters, like significant reduction of motion blur, reduction of latency, input lag. In general, you gain a visual comfort that helps you in fast shooting games. You will be able to distinguish moving objects more easily, and your eye will be able to focus more accurately on the target, which will improve your aim. But how exactly this happens? So let's start with the reduction of motion blur. At 60 Hz, when you make a very fast movement, the viewfinder may become so blurred that you will lose sight of it. Even if it lasts like few milliseconds, it will be a disadvantage for your comfort when you are aiming. With the frequency of 144Hz, this phenomenon will be almost no longer present. Generally speaking, the motion blur is greatly reduced. And when playing competitive FPS games, this visual comfort gives you a real advantage when aiming. Note that the motion blur differs at 15 FPS, 30 FPS, and 60 FPS. Even if it's less present at 60 FPS, it still exists, and at 144Hz, it will be almost imperceivable. It is the visual comfort that you will gain with a high refresh rate, which will also help you to aim better. Now let's talk about latency reduction and input lag. At first, it is necessary to understand that 144Hz PC screens are relatively modern and integrate better quality electronic components, and therefore a lower latency or input lag. Then there is a very simple fact: 144 frames per second, it requires 1000 milliseconds to display 144 images. In other words, 7 milliseconds per image, which is really interesting. Note that this is only about the latency of the PC screen. For total latency, you must add the other hardware components available in your system, like the mouse, processor, graphic card, and finally the PC monitor itself. And since each peripheral is not perfectly synchronized, you must also add the latency synchronization. In any case, we can't deny the fact that a 144Hz monitor plays a key role in reducing input lag, allowing you to enjoy smooth gameplay and more accuracy when it comes to aiming. Now let's talk about ghosting reduction. The advantage of a 144Hz monitor is also to reduce ghosting. The more images you have per second, the more the visual gap between each displayed image is reduced. Although a high frame rate provides better motion clarity, if pixels cannot switch from one color to another in a timely manner, well, you will experience visible ghosting. That's why opting for 144Hz monitor is useful when it comes to reducing the ghosting and improving your aim in a way that allows you to avoid missing your moving target because of the ghosting issue. Here's a video from Nvidia showing CSGO running on different refresh rate. Reduction of image tearing, screen tearing. Another advantage of 144Hz monitors is the reduction of the image tearing effect. In fact, it's like reduction of ghosting effect. The higher the number of frames per second, the more the gap between the images, and therefore tearing is reduced. Tearing reduction enhances speed and reaction time, enabling you to improve your aim. Note that the most effective way to reduce this problem is to use FreeSync or G-Sync technologies. Both solutions will have to better synchronize the system that produces the images and also reduce latency. So the 144Hz monitor is an ideal choice for competitive multiplayer games. All the details mentioned above about the advantages of the 144Hz monitors in terms of aiming can prove their worth and usefulness only in competitive multiplayer games, where every tiny detail matters in order to get many frags and avoid being killed. Let's recall a scenario that happened to many of us when we play competitive shooter games. You have encountered an enemy player, you started exchanging fire, but you couldn't shoot him down, especially when he's moving so quickly. In most cases, if you were doing this while using a 60Hz monitor, well, you would be shooting at a target that isn't even there, because your screen doesn't refresh the images fast enough to follow the fast-moving target. This can have a negative impact on both your aim and kill score in competitive FPS games, especially if your opponent has a better monitor than yours. Therefore, 144Hz is a must if you want to improve your aim and to experience better responsiveness and full immersion in the game. Note that in order to use a high frame rate, your FPS must also be high. So make sure you have a CPU and GPU that is powerful enough for the frame rate you are seeking. If you are still not convinced that a 144Hz monitor can improve your aim, then you just need to give it a try and compare between it and the 60Hz monitor. You will certainly experience the difference quickly. Thanks to the smoother animations, the visual comfort, and the fast response time that a 144Hz monitor offers, you will be able to better identify and track your targets. And when you make micro corrections to your aim to adjust the height of your shots, well, the fluidity of the animation allows you to increase the accuracy of your shots and therefore hit the target more effectively. And that's it, we reached the end of the video. Leave a like and go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future. See you next time.